Hey guys, Dr. Prometheus here, back with some more of our football manager here with Wrexham, our road to the league, and we have the end of season wrap up, and we're gonna make a couple of moves because we have like 90,000 that the board has given us. We're gonna spend it on some premium players, plus we're gonna be selling some players to get some other premium players possibly. So without further ado, let's get right into this. Here we go. End of season review. Come on. Whoops. Pressed it too many times. So had Rafael Leao come in. We had him on loan to begin with, so we've had him here a couple of years. Michael Elise on loan. Pretty good one. Didn't cost a lot of money either. Cost nothing. To us. Akia Kai, they don't like this because his fee is high, but hey, he's going to be a guy that we play going into next year a lot. Sergio Des, this was just someone to bring in. They're disappointed in the fee loan. Obega for 15, this was pretty good, but they don't like his salary. Ajir was for a free. Agulo, they don't like his fee or his transfer. That's fine. Montelane, they do like this. And so do I. He just needs some time to probably put him on loan for a bit. And then Matteo Giovanelli from Inter, that was on a free. Transfers out. Raheem Diaz left on a free. Overton was at 8.75 million to SPO. Aaron Moss goes to Luton for 210,000. Mark Cucurella goes for 3 million over to Virgo. Matteo Gabbia, Sampdoria. The club is actually content with this. We probably could have got more money for this if we pressed it, but it's a pretty good one. And this one from Wellington Paulo for 22 million was a big one. Wow, 22 million for a player like him. Our loans out. We got a couple million from this. Nothing crazy. We probably could have got a fee for more guys out here, but a lot of them are going to end up being sold. So we put them out on loan to see if we can increase their value. The Borders played with the team, achieved a top half finish in the Premier Division. However, at one point we looked like qualifying for the Europa League, so that does take some of the shine off the achievement. I would say so, because we were fooling up here and there was just a couple of key games we just could not win. But we have Europa Conference League, and we should be the best team in the Conference League. Champions League, we were competitive. We just did not make it past that group. English FA Cup, that was disappointment. In the Carabao Cup, we won the Carabao Cup. So, yeah. This Newcastle game, this was insane. The biggest win was a 4-0 over Sparta Prague. A match to remember was a 2-1 win over Liverpool. And then goal of the season, this one was from Caputo for 25 yards out against Dynamo Kiev. Let's see this one. Here's Artis. It's going to be this one. It's off a yellow card. The artist here taking a free kick. Out here, it is blocked. Leao. Well, actually, it's Cherno that actually gets it out. All right, this should be where it is right here. Good move around. We had some good movement here. There it is. Caputo takes a shot, and that is a good low ball from Julian Caputo. I'm not sure if we're going to be keeping Caputo on the roster. Probably long term. We might. All right, reputation is now continental. We've gotten Europe once, so we're up there in the European conversation. So we had 40 million in sponsorships this season, so it's up from 8 million. Our broadcasting revenue stays about the same, between about 110 to 115 or so. So this year is 109. 2.62 million in corporate hospitality, so that's up about 900k. Competition prize money, because we had your Champions League, that was up a lot, and match day was pretty good. Our domestic sales were about 2 million, 2.5, and our non-domestic was about 5 million. We sold a lot of jerseys from Leao, Rebega, Cepeda, Arda. Wow. Okay. We're going to be playing a 5-2-3, I think, going into next year. Highest transfer fee received was Ender. That was 85 million. Leao is the fans player of the season. Young player of the season is Cepeda. Okay. Kudo, Rafael Leao is the top goal scorer. Okay. Looks good. Nothing crazy. That was a big game for us. Was the Carabao Cup. Successful season for Wrexham, started superbly and really let up thereafter. Okay, best 11, not going to worry about it. Season review, that's what we went through. Quarter profile, went up about another 500,000. So it's going up. Club vision, play counterattacking, defensively solid, and play entertaining. Work within that, increase commercial rev. Build a new stadium. So it is in here, and that's what we're doing. Challenge for the Europa Conference League. Okay. Recorded top half finish. Okay. Okay. I mean, I'm not gonna push any promises here. I don't know why the entire... Oh, because the World Cup. There's a lot of players not here because of the World Cup. Okay, training camp. We're gonna go to... Yeah, let's go to the US. Okay. We'll have to play tier 2 teams, but that's okay. Because everyone's at the World Cup right now, that's why. Should we be having World Cup games right now? I'm not sure if we should be. No, all the friendlies are back here for June 5th. We have to combine in this episode. So here it is. Okay. The Joey James Park at the race course. That's what we're going to call it. It's going to be called the Joey Jones Park at the race course. Who's Joey Jones? Is there any way you can like edit this? I don't think there is. So in our mind, we're just going to say that it's going to be down here. The training facilities. Let's request better training facilities. Okay. That's a lot. What does that mean to our finances right now? That is a lot of money. Actually, we're good for it. We're good for it. I think we can hold that. Okay, so we've been scouting, we've been looking around. And I think we are ready to look at some players that we have on the list. So what we're going to play for next year is we are going to play a 5-2-3. We have the players to play it. I feel pretty good about it. So this is what we're going to end up playing. Cepeda might play the shadow striker, or he might play the forward. Maybe if we get a better forward here, we'll be put up here. Arda, he has played on the outside before, just as a midfield on the right. So we're going to train him to be a midfield on the right as a complete wing back. We'll have Volante plays a wing back, which if someone comes in for a sale for Volante, we'll put it out. We're going to be selling as many players as we possibly can. Let's start with here. Ajir is retiring. We'll put him in the under 21s. He's moving to already. He's opting. Is there anyone else? No. Okay, Giovanelli. Let's see if anyone will come in for about 14 million. Let's increase McCarthy's down to 20K. Let's put Angulo up here, and maybe he'll play for us this year, or he'll be a reserve. Actually, let's put him down here. I might actually move him. Does he want... Just good consistency. Might keep Aldo in here. Oko will be the one that's likely sold, I think. If we can get 40 million from him, that would be a good one. But I'm not sure if we can. Because what's his transfer status? We might be able to get 35. Let's see. Then Nunez is going to go out on loan. In Demoski, actually, Demoski should be down at the under 21s. Yeah, and then he'll go out on loan. Okay, so that is what we're going to play here to start with. Thiago has both feet there. To the right, Rodriguez is good with both feet. Okay, so I feel good here. I'm good playing like a ball playing defender on both sides with a center defense hold position in the middle. And I'm fine with something like this. And then what we'll do if we want to play more defensive, we'll play this where Probega will be in the middle and Arda and Cepeda will be up here, and we'll kind of see. But the players that we're looking at right now, these are the players we're kind of scouting. Let's see who's slightly interested in transferring. There's no one in here. What about loan? No one in here. So there's no interest from Martinelli or Reece James. So maybe that will change in the future. So we're kind of looking at a lot of players here. A lot of players. Here is the players that are actually slightly interested. Let's do it by Billy. So Declan Knowles, we were looking at him before. At 5'9", he's not a player that can play up top, but he would be the advanced forward. Defender, we have Dan Bosma, 6 feet. His tackling is good. His heading is decent. Has some good physicals. Pretty good mentals, and that's what we would need playing defense. You play on the right, though. Samuel, playing up top, he just doesn't have the finishing. So he would be a guy that would be playing that wing position. Tom Roth, I mean, he'd be a good wing guy. Vanderson. Now, Vanderson would be an easy one to bring in at 32. He is unhappy. His contract does expire. This would be a good player to bring in on the right side for that wing back. Cujo, I like him for some spots, but I mean, his physical is not that high. We'll just have him on to see what happens. William Majihara, good player, can play on the left, but he's not tall by any means. But this could be one for Volante. Matthias Rodriguez, I mean, we're looking at a midfielder at 6'2", some good tackling, some good aggression. Oh, you could see a good player right here. Zachary White as an advanced forward. I mean, we need to scout him the rest of the way, but this could be a good player up top. I don't like his strength or jumping reach, but we'll kind of see what he does. Plus, he's English, so that'll help out our registration. Inez Zetish, midfielder, good defensive midfielder. Just not fast or anything like that. Last consistency, but it could be something. Shane Ritchie, developmental guy. Doesn't cost a lot, and so I think we can actually pull him in for a low cost. Actually send him out on loan and likely sell him in a season or two. Very cheap. Plus, I think his contract's expiring. Jorge Martinez, another guy that goes out of contract, but actually next year. But we're keeping an eye on him. Hamlet Asta Baruga, pretty cheap guy. This would be another bring in, loan him out, and then sell him. And Jason Alguerno, again, not a great player. So it's all the transfers. All the people that would play on loans. There's a couple of other ones. Gibran Brajas was coming on loan. and that would be it. There's a couple of players we're hoping that we could get something like Vlaslav, Sabatin, Paul Kinland, who he does have some doubtful interest. Let's look at anyone who is just doubtful. So if there's anyone else, Samuel, just not a good goal scorer. Alvaro Cesar, we can bring him in. He looks good. But really, all this adds is Paul Kinland, which, as a player, as a wing player, he could do it. But say as a shadow striker, I think he could play that position. And Cepeda moves up on top. Don't have anyone signed. We're looking at released, but we're not seeing anything. We might bring this guy in just to see, but him being 5'4" is not working. We have some expiring contracts. This is why Kulishevsky is in here. But they did pull him in. So let's look at this by contract. Here's Talvaron. Here's Kareem. And that's the thing. And there's not much in there that we're looking at. Future prospects. We have a couple in here. We have a guy in goal that we could bring in. Pretty cheap, $3 million. We can bring him into playing in our under 21s, who then gets promoted up, and Rollins maybe goes out on loan. Maybe. We don't have anyone in loans. Our maybes are pretty deep just because we don't know about their ability compared to their cost. Now this guy would be amazing. 79 million. Might be a little bit hefty, but I think he would be good. The aggression and the bravery is what kind of concerns me with that. There's a couple of great players in here, though, that we could pluck off other teams like João Mateus of Salzburg. We're talking about a wingback, maybe. But again, we're looking for players that could definitely come in, make a massive impact, and we just don't see that out of the maybes. So here's the superstars. And we only have a handful in here that are having a contract expire. So Ferran Torres, he could do something. He's just not scoring a lot of goals now. Benacer, not a lot of goals. He's not fast. Anthony, I mean, he's a wing back. And Havertz is kind of slowing down in speed. So it's really about what you want. Now, maybe we can get a guy like Phil Foden, but he just signed with Arsenal, so that's not happening. So there's a lot of unknowns in this one. And we're going to have to see if we can pull one big person. Like, I don't think we're going to get Martinelli, Reece James. I don't think that's going to happen, but we want to scout them. For the youngsters, look at some youngsters that aren't out of reach. Marco Segulia. I mean, his jumping reach is the biggest thing, but he looks very, very good. There's that. So that might be one that we look at, but that might be a bit out of our price range. Orlando Kleitzen. but that's way out of our price range. Looking through, Bruno Perez is expensive as well, but can he score? Yeah, he didn't play a lot. That's the thing. Now, did Leicester City? No, Leicester City wasn't actually. That's unfortunate. What about Toulouse? Did Toulouse get relegated? Nope. Let's look at the relegation release clauses. We might have to just dig for players. Everton certainly did not. Eintracht Frankfurt? Nope. Yeah. Nothing. And then looking at the yeses, I think we could pull out something with Daniel Pitchford. And he would be the one that we put forward as a complete forward. He could come in and absolutely dominate. I think he could do some wonders. But pulling him in is going to be very difficult. We also have Jamie Sano, but that is way out of our price range. So it's an unknown. I accidentally cleared out the yeses thinking it was the default, so there's that. We do have 96. So I'd like to do like maybe a 50 and then give incentives up to maybe 40 for Pitchford for Tottenham. So we kind of want to do something like that. But it's all going to be on selling other players. So I'm going to start skipping forward from here and we'll see what we get into. All right, so we had the World Cup. You'll see that later, but to kind of round it up, France won the World Cup here. So yeah, that's all I'll say about where we get knocked out at, but France ends up winning the World Cup. So yeah, that's the thing. The actual runners-up is Brazil, which means the runners-up was our man here, Gilson, playing for Brazil. He was on the national team, and I think we have one other person. I believe it is. Let's actually look at the squad by this, and I think we have one other Brazilian. I don't think Thiago was on there. Wasn't Carlos Alberto? No, actually, we have no other Brazilians that were on the team. We had a couple of Italian players with Canalita, and it was Salvatore was on the Italian team. So that's kind of how that goes. What we have for the transfers. So we're going to have Marine Valente out. We couldn't get any good buyouts for his contract, all of that stuff completely. So we end up having to do a salary contribution, which is going to be a couple million, but at the end of the day, he gets to move on, we get to move on, and at 20% for that, he's likely going to be sold again back in the Premier League, so not really worried about that. Juan Jorge Montanez actually got this one from Aston Villa. I don't think he is going to be a player that increases in worth more than this. And while it is only 12.5 and we played 16 for him, he had some good times. Some good times getting him up for us. He played pretty well when we did buy him. And, well, at this point, we've went bigger and better. So we have to kind of move on with some of these players. So who have I got bigger and better with? So you kind of saw these. Nothing was crazy. And on the way out, we put out Chris McCarthy to Huddersfield for 20K, and then 14 million over to Brentford goes Matteo Giovanelli. Big signings. Saw Vanderson on a free coming in from Newcastle. He's going to be playing the right wing, but also if we go back to a 4-back, he can play that right fullback, and I think he could play it pretty well. He's consistent. But while he's one-footed, we're not really worried about that. We're all just worried about him being consistent and playing well at this level. Shane Ritchie from Liverpool on a free, and he is just an emergency backup that we're going to slowly grow, and we'll probably sell him later on. He is injury prone, so I mean, we just needed more English players for the ability to actually register. Big money for the next two. So Paul Kinlan comes in from Leeds for 53 million. That's a straight up 53 million buy. I don't think we have any. No, there is some. If I'm not mistaken, that is a clause with his, I think. Yeah, so it's only a fee to him. So yeah, that was 53 straight up. And we're going to be seeing him as a shadow striker and getting him set up. While he's 5'8" and he's not going to fight with the ball in the air, I think as a shadow striker, he can distribute it pretty well. And with his dribbling, things like that, he is going to be a fine player for us. And he is also English, so kind of fits the registration rules. Good consistency, leading Premier League player, good agility, good speed, versatility. I mean, this is all we could have asked for. And so he's going to be a mainstay coming in, starting, but also playing out as a super sub. The next one we do is Joe Bell. This is an $84 million deal. And I think this one also had some clauses. So we give them $16.29 million a year. And we sent over Selçuk Okul to get Joe Bell. We're pretty familiar for Joe Bell on the Welsh national team. We're going to use him as a poacher up top. As a poacher, that he's going to do absolute work here off the ball. His decisions, his composure, his anticipation. He can get up, get the ball with his jumping reach and his heading. I mean, this is a guy we're definitely going to push up, and he is going to do some work for us as a poacher up top. That means Rafael Leao will be the complete forward in this bit. So we'll see. We'll see how this works. Those are big transfers in. Our transfers out. Lavaro Zandanovic, we knew he was going to Lazio. That was for 34.5. I think that was tracked already money-wise last season. Matamala goes on loan to FC Lorient for 1.8 million. Lee Jenkins goes to Barnsley for 27K total fee there. Aldo Rodriguez out to Real Madrid. I'm not sure if Real Madrid was the one that initially actually wanted him, that made him want to opt out and kind of be unhappy and kind of move on. 28.5 million up to a possible 30 million to be good for us. Selçuk Okul, that was a player exchange. Petrick Gullenbach to Galatasaray for 4.8 up to a possible 5.5 million, and Aldo Basal goes to Leverkusen for a 1.7 loan. So a lot of money in, a lot of transfers out, but what that ultimately means is we're still positive. One thing we're also looking at because of this one with Montanez is we also have a sign-in for Gibran Brajas. He is going to be the guy that plays center back. I think he could grow rather quickly with good consistency, adaptability, speed, good physicals, already has good tackling. I think he is going to be a good piece, and he's actually going to be our starter on defense. And then we need one more player to be of English descent, so we'd be able to actually register him. So Declan Knowles from Chelsea, we are going to bring him in on loan, and this is going to be the replacement for Juan Jorge Montanez. We also are going to have a clause into this to where if he plays 30 games, it'll be 40 to 50 million, which we're fine with this because we have started building our new stadium. If I haven't shown this already, our new stadium is going to come in. It's going to be done in 2 years. So we're still playing at the current stadium at the racecourse. Yes, I know it's not realistic that Wrexham would rebuild it, build a new stadium. In reality, they would take the racecourse ground and rebuild a new stadium. And they'd probably play at Swansea for a couple of years while they refit a new stadium at the racecourse itself. I know, but that's not something that's in Football Manager. So we're going to roleplay that the next, the Joey Jones Stadium is at the racecourse ground. So we're still going to be playing here. Good capacity of 28,000. So we'll be good. Our club vision, work within the payroll budget, increase commercial revenue, which we are going to do with a couple of big English players. We're looking to boost that domestic revenue up. And then, yeah. So I have Rafael Leao. We're still having Julian Caputo. We're going to see what we can get in this next one. We do in the schedule, going to start off with actually a Europa Conference League game. So the season is going to start out with likely that first game, and if that is a blowout, then we'll play Arsenal, and that'll be the end of the episode. But I have a lot of preseason to get through. We are already maxing out our stadium, so that's a thing. We're going to have a lot of money coming in to the stadium with that, actually, in supporters. I mean, this month, just in gate receipts, 1.5, and we've only played 4 games. 4 games this month. And it's been 1.5. So, pretty hefty bits. I'm kind of shocked by that. We have our neutral here in the US, which we're going to get our revenue up in the US wise. And then we have 4 more home games, with one being the Golden Shield and the other one being the Silver Sword. And then it's back into another fun season here at Wrexham. Now, the goal from here, to kind of give you an idea, if we move on to another save, the goal here is to make a deep run in the Champions League and have a chance to win the Champions League. I think once we win the Champions League, then that's it. But we are far from that, and we're only in Europa Conference. So I think we have a good chance of winning Europa Conference League. I think we have a good chance. We should be the best team in that. There should be no other teams that are of our caliber in our league. So the only thing we have to worry about is maybe like France, Spain, Germany, and Italy. Those teams in the Europa Conference League. But I think we have a good chance of winning this league. If we win this league, what that means is, I believe it is an automatic qualification. Automatic qualification to Europa League group stage. So I would love to see that. But we start back here in the third qualifying stage. It's going to be nice to be able to get into the league phase, and I think we can actually win all of our games in the league phase. Then we go in the knockouts, and it's all about performing and winning those games. We'll kind of see. Who was the last team to win this? It was Aston Villa. So that's what it comes down to. That's the caliber of team that is winning this level is a team like Aston Villa. And where they're at in the league, they're predicted to be around 8th. Okay. And then where they finished last season was 7th. 7th. And here they were in 11th. So, I mean, it's ours to lose. We're slated to be at 10th here in the media projection. I think we're going to end up being able to go higher. Yulson has gotten better as a goalkeeper and is only getting better at this point. Probably should look at off the ball. No, I think we're pretty good on this. Maybe a little bit of composure, which that's what technique it will do. We're looking at good sweeper, keeper, and support. His first touch isn't the greatest, but I think he'll be good. He is going to be an absolute stud of a goalkeeper, and we locked him up for 5 years. I don't think he's going anywhere. He has no clauses. So Yulson will be the one to take us to the promised land on goalkeeping. But, yep, that's going to be it for this episode. So we're going to take it, well, I'm going to take it all the way to that Europa Conference League game. We'll play that. We'll play Arsenal and likely round it out with the second leg of that game, and we'll kind of see. So thanks for hanging out. Go ahead and leave a like below, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Later.